Is there a family connection with the cable station? Can you tell me that story?
Go. My family worked in different ways through the cable station. They drew coal boats came in with the coal for the cable station, and cement for building. They were all drawn by their horses. They had 8 horses working at different things. So,
what was it like growing up with the cable station open? Describe what you remember.
First thing I remember was the street lights. If you went down tonight, we went down to Knightstown at night, there were street lights. And it was very exciting because there was no electricity in the island. But they had generators working to keep everything going. The style of the ladies, they were very busy in the ferry because every time they went anywhere they had to cross the ferry in a boat. And some of them had cars at the Pint, which they had in a house, special house out there. And I think else now. Oh yes, there was. I'll tell you.
Can you tell me any funny stories?
Yes, Seamus. I have a very funny story. The people at the station had different names, not the same as the Valencia people. And one day there was a match in Garsavine, and Colin Hook was playing. And that evening an old man came home after the match and he said, "We had a Hook today but no Lyne." Did you get it? The Lyne family weren't represented. Now that's one funny story. I have another one about my mum and dad. My mum used to supply, the family here used to supply butter down to a lot of the staff, the houses in the cable station. And one night, my dad was coming up to see my mum. They weren't married. And my mum was waiting and he was late. So something happened to his bicycle, and he borrowed a new bicycle from the sergeant of the guards that he knew down there. So he was coming up, cycling up Ballshythe, and she decided she'd have to go down with the butter. So she went off, because they did no lights, and they crashed into each other, the two of them. And that was bad enough, her bag of butter. But you know what he said when he got up? "Where's my bike?" He was worried about the sergeant's bike not crashing into the poor woman in the road. Wasn't that very silly? He didn't say, "How are you?" At that time, they used to make butter baskets if there was a big event at the station. She used to make butter baskets and plait the butter and put handles in the basket and fill it with little balls of butter. It was very intricate, and you remember there was no fridge to keep it cool. It was kept cool in the dairy with the window open. The people at the cable station, most of them were English, and they were very nice people. Most of them were very friendly, and they have very funny names. I have a list of them here if you're interested. Liddycoats, Whitlasses, Dennis's, Mackies, Longlands, Breslins, Lavelles, Graves. Now, my mum got to know a lot of these people very well, and when years after, when she was married back in Ballyherney, they used to come back to see her when they'd come home if they were away, or they'd build up great friendships, especially with one family, the Lavelle family. Des Lavelle's mum and my mum were just great friends, and they used to have long chats. She'd come back on her bicycle, and she let me drive the bicycle and I wasn't able to cycle at all. Oh, and she took photographs of us when we were kids, myself and Tim. Now, they had their own dance hall and their own school. Now, they gave a lot of employment because, first of all, you must remember that there wasn't no electricity, no washing machines. So I knew an old lady that used to walk down with no shoes from tennis, and she walked down and wash all day long. And she'd come home in the evening about dark, and she'd go again the next day. And she just kept to that for years and years doing the washing.
You Nana.
Thank you, Seamus. It was a pleasure.